The bobby pin was bending again. "Come on, you little piece of metal. You can do this," I muttered under my breath, tongue poking out as if that would somehow help the process. One eye squinted shut, the other glaring at the stubborn lock in front of me. It had been almost an hour of me poking, twisting, threatening, and even sweet-talking this stupid door, and it still wouldn't open. "You are not winning today. I'm smarter than you. I'm not picking the lock for fun, if you were wondering. I was just a girl, who was caught in the wrong fire, not actual one. But somehow, I was kidnapped." Yay, me the lock finally made a soft click. My eyes widened. "Did I oh my god. I did it. I did it." I whispered excitedly, almost jumping but stopping myself. "Nope. No happy dance now. Happy dance later." After I wasn't, held hostage, the door creaked open slowly. My heart thumped so loud I was sure someone would hear it. I tiptoed out. Every step looked like a cartoon thief. The hallway was spacious, and everything around me looked like it belonged to a life-size Barbie dream house. If Barbie was rich, scary, and maybe murdered people for a living, who even lives here? I whispered to myself. No one, apparently. What's the point of having a palace if no one's gonna use it? Because the place looked almost empty. I needed to go home. My mom was probably already planning my funeral. If I didn't show up soon, she would kill me herself. The smell hit me before I even saw the kitchen. Fooded. My stomach growled loudly. "We're sneaking." I whispered at it, but it ignored me. I peeked into the kitchen. D. Jackpot. Plates still on the counter, steam curling up from them. I dipped a finger into something creamy and golden. Mashed potatoes. Oh, wow, watery mashed potatoes. Whoever cooked this deserves a Nobel Prize. I turned and nearly screamed. A woman stood there, eyes wide like she'd seen a ghost. She wore an apron, probably the cook. "You made this?" I asked, pointing at the food. She blinked and nodded slowly. "You're doing God's work. If I wasn't in a hurry, I'd tell you to pack it all up. For me, double quotes. I picked up a knife from the counter, pressing the edge lightly to my fingertip. Ouch. It was sharp. This could kill someone. I set it back down casually, and grabbed 2 frying pans instead. "Continue your work," I told the cook with a nod. She didn't move, just stared at me like I had 2 heads, or maybe. I think I haven't showered in 2 days. "Do I have something on my face?" When she didn't answer it, I shrugged and walked out and froze. There were people, a lot of people. Big men in black suits with guns, and all of them were staring right at me. Oh, I squeaked. Busted. One of them took a step toward me, instinct took over, and I turned and ran. I dashed into what looked like a living room, tripping over a rug, and nearly crashing into a coffee table. A man lunged, and I screamed. Grabbed the nearest pillow and threw it at his face. Another came at me, and I hurled the TV remote. I said, "Stop," I yelled, dodging hands. "We can talk this out like adults." A big guy blocked my way. I panicked, swung one of my pans. It created a loud noise. "Oh my god, sorry. Totally an accident." Another came, and she swung the other one. "Oops, also sorry." I was running in circles now, heart pounding, while at least armed men were limping, ducking, or shouting. I hadn't meant to hurt anyone, but apparently I was very good at accidental violence. I said, "Stop chasing me," I shouted. "We can talk." Talking is good civilized. People talk. No one listened. They kept coming like angry bees. Giant, muscular, gun holding bees. "I have a pan and I'm not afraid to use it." I yelled. "Actually, I am afraid. But still, don't come closer. I swear this is all a misunderstanding." I cried as I stood behind sofa, ready to run if anyone came, but before I could even react, a strong arm snaked out around my waist from behind, yanking me off my feet as if I weighed nothing. "Wahey!" I screamed, kicking wildly. "Let go of me." I said. My elbow shot back on instinct, hitting something solid and definitely someone, but the grip didn't loosen. The next second, I was slammed forward. My chest hit the backrest of a sofa, my face pressing into the cushions, my body pinned by the weight. Behind me. Hey, big man, what the hell?" I yelled, wriggling like a worm on a hook. "Personal space exists." You know, stay still. A voice rumbled near my ear, making the hair on my neck stand. Listen, we can talk, okay? I'm great at talking. Ask anyone, they'll tell you. I don't ever shut up. Out. What is that? Rope they were tying my wrists behind my back. From where did they even pull rope out of? Stop tying me up. I yelled, kicking uselessly at the floor. This is unnecessary. I'm cooperating. Look, we can. Hey, stop it. I bruise easily. His grip only tightened, his chest pressed against my back, his strength making every attempt to break free feel like trying to fight a wall. Let me go, you oversized brick. I huffed. We can talk like adults. Your dad probably misunderstood. I misunderstood. We're both misunderstood. Something cold touched my forehead, and now I finally froze. It felt cold and round, and a gun. A gun was pressed to my head. Move again, the same deep voice said. And the bullet goes straight through your skull. Every muscle in my body turned to stone. Oh, okay, I whispered, nodding as best as I could with my face still squished into the sofa. No more moving, no more talking, totally still. Like a statue. Good girl, he murmured, voice brushing against the shell of my ear. You should have done that 10 minutes ago. The weight of his arms stayed around my waist, keeping me pinned in a humiliating position face down, wrists bound, legs bent awkwardly beneath me. Well, I mumbled into the cushion. This is definitely going on my list of worst Tuesdays ever. When they finally decided I was no longer a threat to national security or whatever, the gun was lifted and the man behind me slowly released his hold. My wrists were still tied, but at least I could sit now. I shuffled up and plopped myself onto the sofa. My eyes darted around the room. Every man there was staring at me like I was a bomb about to explode. Great. Just great. Then I looked at the man who'd pinned me down and my mouth fell open. Are you Jungkook? As in Jungkook? I blurted, blinking like an idiot. His expression didn't change, calm and blank. He was sitting across from me now, elbows resting on his knees. Black shirt stretched across broad shoulders, dark eyes fixed on me like he could see right into my soul. Oh my god, you are head of the Black Fox Syndicate? Took control of the organization at 23 after your uncle was? Disposed of .2019, you brokered a weapons deal in Macau that made international headlines. Oh, and in 2021, there was that rumor about you single-handedly shutting down a human trafficking ring in Poland. Also, you're allergic to strawberries. At least, according to a forum thread I found at 3 a.m, but looks like Miss Melissa David has done quite a bit of research on me. He said finally, one eyebrow raised. Melissa? Oh, no, my name isn't Melissa. It's Anne. I smiled brightly, and I love research. I'm practically married to Wikipedia. That earned me a long look. He leaned back on the sofa, legs spreading slightly, and tilted his head. Who do you work for? I blinked. Huh? Who sent you? His voice was patient, like a teacher waiting for a particularly stupid student to solve a math problem. Who are you gathering information for? I don't work for anyone, I said honestly, lifting my tied hands a little, unless you count my part-time job at the library. But I don't think they're very interested in the Mafia. Really? Then how do you know so much about me? Research, I said proudly. Curiosity is a powerful thing. Did you know? People who are naturally curious live longer? I read that somewhere. That could be fake, but still, double quotes, why would you research me? He interrupted. I tilted my head. Why not? His jaw flexed. That's not an answer. I sighed. Okay, fine. Because you're interesting and mysterious and terrifying, obviously, but that just makes you more interesting. It started as a small rabbit hole and then, whoosh, I was 3 hours deep reading old news articles and watching grainy videos of you punching someone in the face. There was silence like pin drop, like everyone was watching me being stupid and HD. How did you break out of a locked room? Oh, that was easy, I said cheerfully. You guys used a standard electronic deadbolt. Takes about 20 minutes to crack if you've got a decent hairpin, and took me an hour because I never broke locks before. Though, for a group of professional criminals, you really should invest in reinforced steel doors or at least motion sensors. Just saying. One of the men near the wall choked on his own breath. Jungkook, eyebrow twitched the tiniest sign of surprise, or maybe annoyance. And the window in the bathroom? Way too high. 10 out of 10, security on that part. But the hall cameras were off, weren't they? I didn't see any. You might want to fix that. He stared at me. And you know how to fight double quotes double quotes. What? No. Absolutely not, I said, shaking my head so fast my hair slapped my face. Then how did you injure 7 of my men? Okay, not injured, they're fine. Probably. Maybe some minor bruising, a mild concussion or two. It was pure accident, I swear. I didn't mean to hit anyone. They just kept running at me. It was a self-defense. Accident, he repeated flatly. Yes, I bruise easier than a peach, okay? Fighting isn't my thing. Running away screaming? Yes. Throwing random household objects. Double. Yes, double quotes. He leaned back again. Silent for a long moment, his eyes dragging over me, like he was reading every word I wasn't saying. You expect me to believe all this? He asked finally. Yes, I said without hesitation, because it's true. I'm not a spy, I don't work for anyone, and honestly, if I were here to assassinate you, I would be doing a terrible job. Double quotes. Jungkook eyes never left mine dark, unreadable and far too calm. For the situation. Let's be serious now, Melissa. There it was again. That fake name I didn't even own. I'm not a very patient man, and trust me when I say, I could torture you in 1,000 different ways just to get a single word out of your mouth. And I wouldn't get tired. Double quotes. Chill crawled down my spine, prickling every inch of my skin. But, he added, tilting his head slightly. We don't have to do this the hard way, do we? Let's start again. Who do you work for? My throat felt dry. My palms were sweating against the rope around my wrists. And for the first time since this ridiculous disaster began, I couldn't find a joke or a sarcastic remark to throw back. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my voice. We are going in circles. Here, and my name's not Melissa, it's YN though. Melissa is a pretty cool name. If I had the chance to pick my own name, I might actually choose that. I paused, then shook my head. But that's not important right now. The words spilled out faster, the way they always did when I panicked. I'm not a spy, really. I'm not, never have been. Don't even like spies. Except for the James Bond movies, but that's more about the cars than the spying. I plastered on what I hoped was a reassuring smile, though, judging by the way my lips were trembling, it probably looked more like I was about to cry or pass out. Jungkook didn't respond. He just slowly shifted his gaze to the men standing behind me. Every single one of them had their eyes glued to the floor. They were terrified of him. That's when it truly hit me, the weight of where I was, who I was talking to, and what kind of man sat across from me. I swallowed hard, my heartbeat pounding so loud it echoed in my ears. I swear, I whispered, more to myself than to anyone else. I swear I'm not lying. His eyes slid back to me, dissecting me piece by piece. Then he leaned forward just a little, resting his elbows on his knees again. And the ghost of a smile touched his lips, one that didn't reach his eyes. Then prove it. Because right now, in everything about you, screams liar. Something slapped against the table between us. I jumped a little at the sudden sound and stared down. It was a small rectangular card. Jungkook tapped a finger against it once. Isn't this yours? I leaned over awkwardly, my tied wrists making it hard to get a proper look. My stomach sank the second I recognized it. I dragged the sound out, my voice shrinking to the size of a pea. Double quotes. Yeah, okay. So, that's actually mine, kind of, Jungkook repeated, one brow arching, like, half of it is mine. The name isn't, the age isn't, the address isn't. But the spirit of it? Totally me. I gave a weak laugh, the kind people make before they cry. You guys want to know the truth? His silence was answer enough. Okay, it's fake. I'm just a curious soul, alright? And I always get myself into trouble. I swear, I wasn't supposed to be there that night. I snuck into that party with that fake ID. Wearing my mom's dress dot, by the way, which she'd probably kill me for if she finds out. And I just wanted to see what it was like. That's it. I wanted to admire the cars, the chandeliers, the fancy people with their shiny shoes and expensive accents. I laughed nervously, trying to lighten the heavy air choking the room. I didn't know people were going to start trying to kill each other. That part wasn't in the brochure. And I definitely didn't plan on being kidnapped, either. I mean, who wakes up and says, hey, you know what I feel like today? Being held hostage by the most feared man in South Korea. Again, no one laughed. I could feel my cheeks heating, my breathing coming faster as I stared at him, desperate for even a flicker of belief in those dark eyes. I'm telling the truth. I don't work for anyone. I don't even like working. Asked out my mom, she yells at me every week about it. Jungkook head tilted slightly to the side, his jaw tightening just enough for me to notice. His eyes scanned every inch of my face. You expect me to believe, he said slowly, that a stranger with a fake ID, knowledge of my organization, and enough guts to break out of a locked room, just accidentally stumbled into my business? I bit the inside of my cheek. Yes, his lips twitched. It was definitely not amusement, but like he couldn't decide if I was unbelievably stupid or terrifyingly clever. Apparently, even that didn't work, because the next time I opened my eyes, I was in a different room, just 4 white walls, a bed bolted to the floor, and the cherry on top, a lock dot on the door I definitely couldn't pick this time. Great, I muttered to myself, slumping back against the wall. Absolutely, fantastic. You did so well. Give them all the information, tell them you're not a spy, and still end up in Mafia jail. Level 2, double quotes, I kicked my legs from the edge of the bed, dangling them in the air, and swinging them back and forth as fast as I could, mostly because I had nothing better to do. If I closed my eyes, I could almost see the trail of stupidity that had led me here. Step 1, make a fake ID, Step 2, sneak into a fancy party I had no business attending, Step 3, get curious about a group of dangerous-looking men in expensive suits, Step 4, get kidnapped. Honestly, I sighed, flopping back onto the bed, staring blankly up at the ceiling. I wouldn't even kidnap me if I were them, double quotes, my eyes traced the cracks and corners above until they stopped on a tiny, dark shape near the corner of the ceiling, small, round, blinking red, a camera. Oh, hey, I said loudly, sitting up and waving. I see you there. I pointed up at it. Yeah, you. Don't think I don't notice you spying on me while I rot away in here. Pushing myself to my feet, I moved closer to the lens and cupped my hands around my mouth. Listen, I don't know who's watching this, probably Mr. Mafia man himself, but this? Not cool. You know, you're not supposed to kidnap a lady, right? Like, it's actually illegal. Super illegal. No response. Of course not. It was a camera, not a micro speaker. I'm serious. I have to go home. My mom's gonna think I'm dead, and then she's gonna kill me for sneaking out, and then I'll really be dead. So if you could just unlock the door, that'd be ... I stopped, leaning close to the camera with a narrowed gaze. Also, rude that you're just sitting there watching me talk to myself. At least wave or something. I wasn't sure how long I yelled, maybe 5 minutes. Maybe 10, but by the time I got tired, my voice was hoarse and my legs were sore from stomping around. I sat back down on the bed with a sigh, glaring up at the little red light. Fine, be that way. See if I care, but of course I did care. Because deep down, the silence was starting to get heavy and I hated it. Jungkook's pav. She's been at it for 20 minutes. Namjoon muttered beside him. That's gotta be a record, double quotes. He didn't answer. His eyes stayed locked on the screen on her. Pacing, yelling, waving her arms around like she was trying to flag down a plane. Every few minutes, she'd stop and glare straight into the camera, as if she could somehow see him on the other side, it was. Ridiculous, the last person they locked in that room had gone silent within 5 minutes. Most broke down crying. Some begged. A few just stared blankly at the wall until they gave up. But this one? She's either very stupid, or she's playing dumb better than anyone, I'd ever seen. Jungkook ignored him. Leaning closer to the screen. The girl was now sitting cross-legged on the bed. She looked small. Not weak or terrified, just small. Like a kid who'd taken a wrong turn and ended up somewhere she shouldn't be. Still think she's lying? Namjoon asked. Jungkook thumb brushed against the edge of the remote as he leaned back in his chair. Acting. Was she? Maybe. She fooled people before. He seen trained agents cry, beg, even pretend to faint anything to lower their guard. Yet something about her was off. She didn't speak like someone who had a plan. She spoke like someone who had no idea how deep she'd fallen into the lion's den. I don't know if she's acting. She's too damn good at it, Namjoon smirked. You sound almost impressed. I'm not, though the slight twitch in his jaw betrayed him. I just don't like puzzles I can't solve. They watched as In hopped off the bed again, tiptoeing toward the corner where the camera at. She craned her neck, squinting up at it before waving again, bigger this time. Hi again. Still watching me, huh? Great, totally not creepy. She's too curious for her own good, he muttered instead. Curiosity gets people killed. Namjoon hummed, glancing at him sideways. So what's the plan? Breaker? His eyes stayed on the screen for a long moment. She started talking to the wall now, pacing in a small circle, hands flailing as if having a full conversation with someone invisible. It was almost endearing. No, he said finally, a dangerous calm slipping into his tone. I'll talk to her again myself. Namjoon's brows rose. You think she'll tell you anything different? Maybe. Or maybe I just want to see if that mouth of hers ever. Stop running. Jungkook's POV : by the time I decided to see her again. A few hours had already passed. Long enough for the adrenaline of the earlier chaos to fade. Long enough for her to sit alone with her thoughts if she even had the capacity to stay still for that long. The food had gone in first. I told the staff not to bother plating it too nicely. She wasn't a guest. She was a potential threat. But when the camera showed her reaction, I almost laughed. She stared at the tray like she'd just been served a royal feast. Then immediately began shoving food into her mouth like a starved chipmunk. Cheeks puffed, crumbs everywhere, making pleased little noises to herself between bites. God, this is so good. I swear I'm gonna marry whoever cooked this. Unbelievable. I waited until she was halfway through inhaling the rice before I opened the door. The metal clicked, and the sound made her freeze mid-bite, spoon still hovering near her lips. Slowly, she turned her head toward the sound. Her eyes widened when she saw me. She didn't move, just blinked at me with a grain of rice sucked to the corner of her mouth. I dragged a chair from the corner and placed it right in front of her bedclothes. Then I sat, elbows resting loosely on my knees, gaze steady on her face. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The only sound was the tiny clink of her spoon against the bowl as she awkwardly lowered it. She mumbled, clearing her throat. Hi. I tilted my head slightly. I am. The only thing good here is the food. Double quotes. I almost smiled. Almost. Double quotes. Glad you approve. I said softly. Would be a shame if your last meal tasted bad. Her chewing slowed at that, and she shot me a cautious glance. You're joking, right? Double quotes. Leaned back, crossing one leg over the other, pretending to think. Maybe. She stared at me for a beat, spoon hovering in midair again. Then she shrugged and went back to eating. Well, if it is my last meal, and not wasting it. Double quotes. There was no fear in her tone. Just that same bizarre mixture of curiosity and clumsy courage that made her impossible to read. I studied her every little twitch of her fingers, every dart of her eyes, the way she fidgeted when my gaze lingered too long, the way she licked her lips nervously, even as she tried to act unbothered. Tell me something. Do you always act like this? She swallowed. Yes. Even when you're scared, especially when I'm scared. Silence freaks me out. Double quotes. Thing in my chest shifted. I didn't like. I shoved it down and reached out suddenly, closing the distance between us. Her breath hitched as my hand caught her chin, tilting her face toward me. Her skin was warm beneath my fingers. and I felt her tense immediately. Her eyes met mine wide, startled, too close now to hide anything. "Look at me," I murmured. I am looking," she stammered. "Good." My thumb brushed lazily along her jaw. "Now tell me again. Why were you there that night?" Her throat bobbed as she swallowed. "I told you. I was just curious, right? And you just happened to be curious about one of the most dangerous meetings in the city." "I swear I didn't know. Liar." I felt her flinch beneath my hand. Gone was the teasing edge, the faint warmth. My tone was ice now, my gaze hard and unreadable. "Do you think I'm stupid?" I asked, still holding her face in place. "Do you think I don't know a cover story when I hear one?" No, I don't think you're stupid," she whispered, eyes darting nervously across my face, then stopped treating me like I am ... double quotes ... Her voice was shaky but stubborn. "I'm telling the truth." "Fine then." He flicked her chin before stepping back. "I'm going to ask ... few questions, and you have to answer them truthfully." He gave her ... a stare. "And I mean it ... double quotes ... The chair creaked softly as I leaned back, folding one leg over the ... other again. The silence in the room was no longer comfortable. "Keep eating," I said quietly ... She looked at me confused. I said keep eating. Okay." She swallowed hard and scooped up another bite, chewing nervously as I shifted forward in my seat. "Full name, Minnan. Where were you born?" "Seoul. I mean, that's what my parents told me. If they were lying then, I don't know." I was a Bob dash ... double quotes, not an extra word. She shut up instantly and stuffed more food into her ... mouth. "Where did you go to school?" She rattled off the names between bites, wiping at her mouth with the back of her hand. I listened quietly, nodding occasionally, each question more personal than the last. "Where do you live now?" "With my mom. Small apartment near the east side. Second floor, leaky bathroom tap, if that matters." "What do your parents do?" "My dad's gone left when I was 6, so don't remember much about him. My mom's a nurse, works night shifts. She hates when I stay out late." "Brothers? Sisters?" "Only child." I watched the way her lips moved as she spoke, rushed and desperate to give me everything I asked for before I had a reason to get angry. She was trying so hard not to let it show how terrified she was. "Why were you at that party?" I asked again. He knew he was going in ... circles now ... Her eyes flicked up to mine. "Curiosity." I leaned in, close enough to smell the faint scent of mouthwash on her breath. "And if I knew you were lying to me in..." My voice dropped, lower, a whisper that scraped like steel against silk. "Do you know what ... would happen?" I watched the panic flicker in her eyes. "Why, yeah, I've read things." And what are they exactly?" "You torture people. Means you are going to torture me too." "You'd break my fingers," she said, words muffled by rice, one by one. "Starting with ... the small ones, because they hurt more." I raised a brow, but said nothing. "You'd pull out my teeth. Or maybe lock me in a freezer for hours. Maybe hang me upside down until I pass out. Starve me. Burn me. Keep me ... awake for days." Her hands gripped the bowl so tightly I thought it might crack. She wouldn't ... meet my eyes. She was terrified, and I couldn't help a smirk that formed at the ... corner of my lips. "Good girl," I murmured. Her head jerked up, startled. "I like that you're ... aware, that you know what happens to people who lie to me. Means you ... understand what's at stake." She shifted on the mattress, pressing herself back against the headboard ... as if distance could make her heart slow down. "Does it scare you, knowing what I'm capable of?" "Why, yes," she admitted. "Then why aren't you begging?" I don't know," she said honestly. "Maybe because I know begging won't ... change anything." My smirk deepened. "Interesting." I leaned even closer, close enough that I could feel the warmth of her breath against my jaw, close enough that her eyes darted nervously between my lips and my gaze. "Without meaning to, maybe you're smarter than you look. Or stupider." She shot back before she could stop herself, then immediately slapped a hand over her mouth. "Oh my god, ignore that. That was ... I laughed, actually laughed." The sound startled her and startled me too. I hadn't laughed during an interrogation in years. "Careful. That mouth of yours is going to get you in more trouble than you're already in. It's already got me kidnapped." she muttered under her breath. I pushed away from the bed finally, standing tall again. Her shoulders slumped. With the smallest sigh of relief at the space returning between us though. Her eyes never left me, as if she knew the next moment might be worse. We'll continue this later. She blinked. What? Wait, that's it. For now, I said, turning toward the door. Eat the rest. You'll need the energy. For what? I glanced over my shoulder, letting the ghost of that same dangerous smirk return. For whatever comes next.